So one day I was walking down the hallway and I was late for calculus class, and I was just looking down the hallway and I found my locker and I had to go and open it, but I couldn't open the lock because the combination changed. So I looked at it and I tried fooling around with it, and I finally got a combination that worked, and it was awesome because then I got a piece of paper. So I finally got my piece of paper there, and I was walking down the hallway again, and I found some people and they're just like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to calculus class. You guys can screw off." And like, "Hey, you don't have to be mean." And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I can do whatever the hell I want." Then I walked to the cafeteria and I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I'm hungry. I should get some food before I go to calculus class." So then I got in the cafeteria and I realized I had no money. So then I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go look around for food." And I found a big bag of popcorn, and the bag of popcorn still had popcorn in it. I was psyched, and then I ate a whole bunch of popcorn. Then I realized I was like 30 minutes late for calculus. So I said, "You know what? Screw it," and I skipped the class. So I walked upstairs and I found this big crazy calendar. And I went in the calendar and I was trying to find today's date. And I looked at it for like 30 minutes and I couldn't find today's date. It was really weird. So I took it downstairs to try and find someone to show it to. And there's no one around to show it to. Then I was walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden I found this guy named Brandon. He was really, really cool. And I'm like, "Hey, Brandon, try and find me today's date." And he looked at it and he's like, "Holy shit, there it is." And he was so satisfied with himself. It was unbelievable. It was like he just cured cancer. It was crazy. Then I was slowly walking away, and I turned around and wasn't paying attention, and I just realized that Brandon actually had bipolar disorder. Holy crap! Then Chris showed up, and he's just like, "Holy crap!" And then he beat the crap out of Brandon, and then I just kept walking away, and it was pretty epic. So then I continued going down the hallway, and this chick named Chelsea ran up to me. She's like, "Hey, you have a camera?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do have a camera." She's like, "Hey, you know what? You should take a picture." I'm like, "Why should I take a picture?" She's like, "Just do it." I'm like, "Why?" "Do it." I'm like, "Okay, fine." She's like, "Okay, good." And I took a picture, and she's like, "Yeah, picture, yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, this is kind of weird." So I walked upstairs. So I was walking upstairs and I just saw the crazy Mr. Turton. He was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to drive on a skateboard in a few minutes. You should come follow me." And we're like, "Okay, that sounds pretty cool." So I walk into the AV room and he's like, "Hey, we got a fog machine." I'm like, "Holy shit, a fog machine. And strobe lights." I'm like, "Holy crap, this sounds like a rave. I think I'm ready for this." So I'm like, "Holy crap." So I went inside, and it actually pretty much was exactly what I was expecting. It was a rave, except that Mr. Turton was on a skateboard, and it was really awesome. And it was like, "Holy shit, dance time." I started dancing, it was amazing, and everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, it's a rave, you guys should dance." And it was amazing. And then I left because Mr. Turton got annoyed at me, and it wasn't very good. He doesn't like me anymore. After the crazy dance rave party, I had to go back downstairs because I was really, really, really tired. I had to sit in a chair for a good 10 minutes or so. That chair felt so good, it was unbelievable. But then I realized I had to go finish some homework I had in film and video class. So I went and filmed video class. So I was working on my project, and I was just working on my project just as innocent as possible. Then all of a sudden, boom! The back of my head hurts. And I sort of just passed out on the floor. I don't even know what happened. It was really crazy. So I woke up and I was just like, "What the hell's going on with me? This is so weird. I have no idea what the hell happened." Then I looked over and I just saw Steven's face, and he was all smirking at me, just laughing, looking like one of those crazy goofy guys that you only see on TV and cop shows. And I knew whatever the hell happened to me was because of Steven. So I was pissed. So I got up and I went over to the power box. So I walked over to the circuit breaker and I turned off all the lights when no one was looking. I turned off all the power. The building went completely dark because it was nighttime. Everyone was just bumping into walls and not knowing what was going on. It was chaos. Just what I wanted. Pure chaos. And I smiled and I walked towards Steven with that big 2x4 he hit me with. I'm sure he hit me with it. And at the moment of truth, I looked at Steven. He didn't see me. He was still trying to get his computer to work. I was sitting there with a big 2x4 aimed right across his head, and I just felt inside myself that no matter what I did, it wouldn't change the fact that I have a bump on the side of my head. And I knew that I had to do something about it. So all I did was move my 2x4 down and heard a big on the side of Steven's head. And that was the end of it. And I didn't feel any better after doing it. I just felt a big hole inside of myself. And it just made me rip myself apart. And the omniscient Mr. Kuchler was satisfied with his acts that he has caused upon the earth, and has declared that day to be a day to remember, a holiday, the first holiday ever recorded. Praise be to the omniscient Mr. Kuchler.
Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he ain't got nobody to listen. I'm blue, I've been